I'd love to hear from our council president, vice president, Jennifer Slagle Peck.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Kirk. I'm pleased to be with you today to share a few highlights from this past year. Indeed, this year, I had an experience where I felt like I met Jesus in the flesh. And it turns out he works at the budget car rental at the Phoenix, Arizona airport. I had no idea. I was traveling with my kids and mom for a quick weekend to celebrate my uncle's 80th birthday. I was on the fence about the trip because Dave couldn't go and work was very busy, and the kids didn't have any time off school at all. But after a lot of hemming and hawing, we decided to make it work, even though we knew it was a long way to fly for just a very little bit of time with family. We had an early morning flight, and everything went perfectly. We got to the airport early, the security line was a breeze, the flight took off on time, and the flight felt like it went quickly. I called my sister when we landed, and I said we would be seeing her very soon. We could show up at my uncle's house together and surprise him. We just needed to pick up the rental car. We took the tram to the rental car building and walked in. And that is when I saw what I think is the longest line I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been to Orlando, so I've seen long lines. This one was long. It was the entire length of the very long building. And everyone in that building was in line for budget. I asked some folks if what I was seeing was really what I was seeing, and they begrudgingly said yes, and they estimated that the line was taking over 3 hours. Yeah, I know, that was my reaction. So we got in line with our luggage, my mom and her walking stick, the kids and their snacks, and while we waited, I checked every other rental place in the building, and no one had cars available. I looked online to see if I could rent a car anywhere in the city, and there were simply no options. We were dazed and trying to figure out what to do when a man walked up to me, and he pointed to my mom and the kids, and he said, "Are they with you?" I nodded, and he said, "Follow me. I'll help you." He then took us to the front of the line and got us a car, just like that, and just that quick. It is hard to describe how relieved I felt. I think you all understand, though. You've been in travel situations, and it may feel a little silly after the fact, but I really appreciated this gentleman, and I appreciated that he saw us standing in that line, and he actually saw us. And when he saw us, he probably realized that while 0 people were standing in that line were excited to be there, maybe this group didn't have the stamina to stand for 3 hours. And maybe somehow he realized how precious every hour of that day was to us. So we got our car, we met up with our family, we surprised my uncle by knocking on his door. I'm not sure that's a good idea for an 80-year-old, but that's what we did. And my kids got to play with their cousins all afternoon, and my mom got to visit with her brother. It was a gift to have that day together. As this gentleman at Budget was helping us, I was reminded how simple actions can have such a profound impact. How seeing someone, rather than just seeing a crowd, can make a difference. How our interactions with each other and our relationships are central to our lives and to our faith. When I became your vice president 3 years ago, I knew I was called to focus on relationship building and seeking justice. The two actually go hand in hand, as the more you connect with someone, the better you understand them. And the better we understand each other, the more open we can be to seeing each other's needs and being on a path of seeking justice and building equitable systems. The relationship building work we have been doing on Synod Council is twofold. We are building relationships both within the council and within the Synod. As a council, we are actively engaged in getting to know each other. I can honestly say that I've made dear friends while serving on Synod Council. I've seen folks grow in their understanding of the church and seen the beautiful things that we can accomplish through partnerships with the Synod and by bringing people and the congregations together. When I asked folks on Synod Council to share their highlights of the year with me, the importance of these connections was a central tenet. They said, "I always look forward to being together in person or on Zoom, and it is a high point in my day to contribute to our mission. I have loved getting to know fellow colleagues one-on-one. visiting mission centers around the Synod. Being on Synod Council gave my little church a continued opportunity to feel included. I appreciate that we engage in difficult conversations with grace and concern. My time on council has been rewarding. It helps me feel more connected to the church proper, and I gain insights on issues that face us as a denomination and Synod every time we engage. I have enjoyed new relationships with leaders throughout the Synod and deepening relationships with those I knew before. And finally, a highlight for me is being able to connect the members of my congregation in a substantive way to what's really going on at the Synod level. Witnessing just these experiences would make our time on council worthwhile. But I've also seen how the business of the Synod facilitates relationship building and spreads God's love by fostering connections around the Synod. This past year, the Synod Council took several notable actions. We supported capital campaigns of both of our camps because we know that camp is a place where kids and adults have powerful experiences of faith and connection. We supported a new coaching program focused on vitality and stewardship. This program will bring clergy together to talk about their ministries and how to create open and inviting spaces that can authentically and wholeheartedly serve the community. We reviewed Synod policies through a lens of racial justice and made amendments in line with our takeaways from the racial equity audit. For instance, we adopted a transgender inclusion policy to ensure that everyone who interacts with the Synod offering or event is seen and feels welcome. This policy is now on our website and will be shared with venues that host our events as those events are being planned. We also supported numerous grants to congregations seeking to expand ideas or projects that have gained traction. When discussing when and how to approve grants within the Synod, we are focused on being good stewards of the Synod funds and your mission support dollars. We are also focused on how a grant can facilitate our mission, which proclaims that we are rooted in a bold and boundless love for Jesus, our call to the discipleship of others, and our acts of justice in this world. We therefore invite grant recipients to be in relationship with the Synod. We invite them to be involved in Synod events and to connect with Synod staff and people across the Synod so that we can be in community with each other. We want to see the congregations in our Synod, not just as part of a nondescript crowd, but truly see each congregation for who they are, for their particular setting, for their unique challenges, and their gifts. The Synod is a resource for you, sometimes as a financial resource, always as a source of connection and support. As Bishop Ortiz can often be heard saying, she and the Synod staff and the Synod Council are eager to work with you to be the church God is calling us to be. We have amazing opportunities not just to do more, but to be more. And not just to do church, but to be church. In the coming year, the Synod Council looks forward to continuing to engage and connect with folks across the Synod, and we invite you to be in relationship with us and with each other. Please invite youth in your congregation or even in your neighborhood to attend a Synod youth retreat. Bring a group to a Synod event like a traveling prayer night or to a leadership academy. Join us this summer for the Pride Parade or the annual block party or the baseball game. Consider joining the Synod Council next year when we are seeking nominations or getting involved in one of our other tables, teams, or committees. Like the gentleman at the budget counter in Phoenix, can you look out in the crowd into your community, into your Synod, and see where you might be able to offer support? Who needs a bit of help? Who needs an encouraging word? Who needs an invitation to connect? This is the work we are called to do together. Thank you to everyone who has served on Synod Council this past year, everyone who supported the Synod's work by attending an event, by serving on a table, team, or committee, and to everyone who advocated in their congregation to provide mission support dollars to the Synod. Each of these actions facilitates the relationship building within and across the Synod, and each action helps us cultivate a bold and boundless love for Jesus and God's beloved creation. I also want to provide a huge thank you to the Synod staff, who work tirelessly every day, and I mean every day, to support your congregations. The work they do is integral to the success of every Synod endeavor, and it provides significant support both publicly and behind the scenes to congregations and roster leaders. Thank you for all you do. Catherine. I look forward to another year of relationship building and seeking justice. Here ends my report.